In a distant part of the universe, far beyond the reach of human telescopes, there was a species known as the CAlien. They were an advanced civilization with technology that made Earth's greatest inventions look like toys. Their cities floated in the sky, powered by energy harvested from stars. Their ships traveled faster than light, and their scientists had unlocked secrets of the cosmos that most beings could never imagine. Yet, for all their knowledge and power, they faced a problem they could not solve. It started subtly, almost unnoticed. Strange ripples began to appear in the gravitational fields of their star system. At first, these disturbances were small, causing minor disruptions in the orbits of moons and asteroids. But over time, the anomalies grew stronger. Planets wobbled unpredictably in their paths, and entire sections of space seemed to stretch and warp as though reality itself was bending. The CAlien called it the collapse, a phenomenon that threatened to tear apart their home planet and everything they held dear. General Varnock, the leader of the CAlien military, was furious. He paced back and forth in his command chamber, his armored boots clicking against the polished floor. Around him, holographic screens displayed streams of data and simulations, each one more alarming than the last. His advisors stood silently, afraid to speak. They had tried everything, calculations, experiments, even consulting ancient texts, but nothing worked. No matter how hard they studied the problem, the answer remained elusive. "How can this be?" Varnock barked, slamming his fist onto the table. "We are the CAlien, masters of science, rulers of the stars, and yet we cannot solve this? It is unacceptable." One of his advisors, a nervous-looking scientist named Trellis, cleared his throat. "General, perhaps we need to seek help from outside sources. There may be others in the galaxy who have encountered something similar." Varnock glared at him. "Who?" "The Zarathians. They are traitors, not thinkers. The Xyloths? Their minds are too primitive. We have already consulted every known civilization capable of aiding us. None possess the intellect required to tackle this issue." Trellis hesitated before speaking again. "There is, another option. An old database, buried deep within our archives. Some say it holds answers to problems deemed unsolvable. If we consult it, we might find guidance." Varnock paused, considering this. Though skeptical, he nodded. "Very well. Fetch this database and bring me its findings immediately." Hours later, the database was retrieved and activated. Its glowing interface filled the room with soft blue light as it processed the query. When the results appeared, everyone stared in disbelief. On the screen were 3 simple words: "Call in humans." "Humans?" Varnock repeated, his voice dripping with disdain. "What nonsense is this? Humans are barely out of their infancy as a species. They squabble among themselves, destroy their own planet, and cling to superstitions. How could they possibly help us?" Trellis shuffled nervously. Perhaps there is wisdom in simplicity. Humans have proven resourceful in the past. Maybe. Their perspective." "Enough!" Varnock interrupted. "Fine. If this ridiculous suggestion is our only hope, then so be it. Send a message to Earth. Bring 2 representatives here. But mark my words, if this fails, heads will roll." Meanwhile, on Earth, life went on as usual. In a small town nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, Ryan Carter spent his days fixing cars and tinkering with gadgets in his garage. He wasn't particularly ambitious, nor did he think much about the future. To him, life was about solving problems, one broken engine or malfunctioning appliance at a time. People often joked that if Ryan couldn't fix it, no one could. A few miles away, Lily Evans worked quietly in the local library. She loved puzzles, whether they came in the form of crossword books or complex novels filled with hidden meanings. Her co-workers admired her sharp mind and gentle demeanor, though she preferred solitude over socializing. Most days you'd find her tucked away in a corner, surrounded by stacks of books, lost in thought. Neither Ryan nor Lily expected their lives to change anytime soon. That is, until a strange message arrived late one evening. A bright beam of light shot down from the sky, landing directly in front of Ryan's garage. Startled, he stepped outside to investigate and found a hovering device shaped like a sphere. It emitted a series of beeps and whistles before projecting a hologram of an alien face. "Greetings, human," the alien said in halting but understandable English. "You have been chosen to represent your species in a matter of great importance. Please prepare for immediate departure." Ryan blinked, unsure if he was dreaming. What? The same scene unfolded for Lily at the library. As she shelved books, the glowing sphere descended through the skylight, startling her. The alien's message was identical, leaving her equally confused. Before either of them could protest, the spheres enveloped them in beams of light, lifting them off the ground. Within moments, they vanished from Earth, transported across galaxies to a world they couldn't begin to comprehend. When Ryan and Lily regained consciousness, they found themselves standing in a vast chamber filled with towering machines and glowing panels. Surrounding them were creatures unlike anything they'd ever seen. Tall, slender beings with shimmering skin and elongated limbs. One of them stepped forward, his imposing figure clad in ornate armor. "I am General Varnock," he announced, his tone gruff. "You are here because my people require assistance. A threat looms over our star system, and despite our efforts, we cannot resolve it. According to an ancient database, humans may hold the key to salvation." Ryan scratched the back of his head, still trying to process what was happening. "So, you're saying aliens need our help? Seriously?" Lily, ever the observer, spoke up cautiously. "What exactly do you need us to do?" Varnock gestured to a holographic display showing swirling patterns of chaotic energy. "This is the collapse. Gravitational anomalies are destabilizing our system. We need you to analyze this data and determine the cause." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "And why us? You guys seem pretty smart. Shouldn't you be able to figure it out yourselves?" Varnock's expression darkened. "Because we have exhausted all other options. Do not disappoint me, humans." As the CAlien explained the situation further, Ryan and Lily exchanged uncertain glances. They were just ordinary people plucked from their mundane lives and thrust into an interstellar crisis. Yet despite their doubts, a spark of curiosity ignited within them. Perhaps, just maybe, they really could make a difference. Little did they know, their journey was only beginning. After their abrupt arrival on CAlien Prime, Ryan and Lily were given a tour of the sprawling alien facility. The CAlien led them through corridors lined with glowing panels and humming machinery, each step revealing more about the advanced civilization they now found themselves in. Despite the awe-inspiring surroundings, Ryan couldn't shake the feeling that he was completely out of his depth. "This is insane," Ryan muttered under his breath as they walked past a massive holographic map of the star system. "I fix cars for a living, not solve cosmic mysteries." Lily, ever calm and observant, placed a reassuring hand on his arm. "We're here for a reason, Ryan. If they think we can help, maybe we should at least try." Ryan sighed but nodded. He knew she was right. Still, the weight of expectation from General Varnock and the entire CAlien species felt overwhelming. They weren't scientists or astronauts. They were just two ordinary people who happened to draw the short straw in some cosmic lottery. Eventually, they reached a large chamber filled with screens, consoles, and floating displays of data. It looked like the control room of a spaceship, except far more complex than anything either of them had ever seen. Treeless, the nervous scientist who had earlier suggested consulting the ancient database, greeted them warmly. "Welcome," Trellis said, his voice softer than the gruff tones of General Varnock. "This is where our best minds have been working tirelessly to understand the collapse. We hope your unique perspective might uncover something we've missed." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "Unique perspective? You mean because we're human?" Trellis hesitated before nodding. "Yes, your species approaches problems differently. Sometimes simplicity is the key to unlocking even the most complicated puzzles." Lily stepped forward, her eyes scanning the chaotic swirls of data displayed on one of the screens. "Can you explain what's happening again? In simpler terms?" Treeless obliged, pointing to a hologram of the star system. "Imagine the gravitational forces holding everything together are like threads in a tapestry. Normally, these threads are stable, keeping planets and stars in their proper places. But recently something has started pulling at those threads, causing ripples that threaten to unravel the entire system. Ryan frowned. So it's like space is stretching or twisting, like when you pull on a rubber band too much? Precisely, Trellis replied, clearly impressed by the analogy. But the source of this distortion remains unknown. Our instruments detect fluctuations, but we cannot pinpoint their origin. Lily tilted her head, studying the patterns closely. These ripples, do they repeat? Is there any kind of rhythm or sequence? Trellis exchanged glances with another CAlien scientist before answering. We have detected certain patterns. Yes, but they are irregular and difficult to interpret. Why do you ask? I don't know yet, Lily admitted. But if there's a pattern, maybe it means the cause isn't random. Patterns usually suggest order, even if we don't understand it right away. Ryan chimed in, gesturing toward the hologram. And if it's not random, then maybe it's something mechanical, something that can be fixed. Trellis blinked, momentarily stunned by the suggestion. Mechanical? That possibility has not occurred to us. Our focus has been on natural phenomena, supernovas, black holes, or other stellar events. Well, maybe you're looking in the wrong place, Ryan said with a shrug. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the right one. Trust me, I've fixed enough broken-down engines to know. General Varnock entered the room just as the conversation was heating up. His presence immediately silenced everyone, including Ryan and Lily. The towering alien crossed his arms and fixed them with a piercing gaze. What progress have you made? He demanded, his tone sharp. Trellis hesitated, unsure how to respond, but Lily spoke up confidently. We're still analyzing the data, General, but we believe the patterns might indicate a mechanical issue rather than a natural one. If that's true, then perhaps the solution lies in repairing whatever is causing the disruption. Varnock's expression darkened. Repairing? Humans, this is no mere machine malfunction. This is a threat to the very fabric of our existence. We get that, Ryan interjected, surprising even himself with his boldness. But hear us out. On Earth, when something big breaks, we start small. We look for clues, piece things together, and figure out what went wrong before jumping to conclusions. Maybe you've been overcomplicating things. For a moment, Varnock looked ready to explode with anger, but instead he took a deep breath and turned to Trellis. Give them access to everything they need. If these humans truly believe they can succeed where we have failed, let them try. With that, the general stormed out of the room, leaving behind a tense silence. Trellis quickly ushered Ryan and Lily to a smaller workspace equipped with tools and technology adapted for human use. Though overwhelmed, the pair dove into the task with determination. Over the next several days, Ryan and Liz worked side by side, using their distinct skills to tackle the problem. Ryan approached it like a mechanic, examining the data as though it were a broken engine. He built makeshift models using scraps and spare parts provided by the CAlien, trying to replicate the gravitational anomalies in miniature form. Meanwhile, Lily focused on the mathematical side, searching for connections between the patterns and anything familiar from Earth's history or science. Their differing methods complemented each other perfectly. Ryan's hands-on experiments helped visualize the abstract concepts, while Lily's analytical mind identified hidden structures within the chaos. Slowly but surely, they began to make progress. One evening, as they pored over a particularly dense set of readings, Lily suddenly gasped. Ryan, look at this. She pointed to a series of numbers flashing across one of the screens. At first glance, they seemed random, but upon closer inspection, Ryan noticed something peculiar. Those numbers, they match coordinates. Exactly, Lily exclaimed. And not just any coordinates, these correspond to locations near the edge of the star system. Whatever's causing the collapse, it's originating from out there. Excited by their discovery, they rushed to share the news with Trellis. The CAlien scientist listened intently, his skepticism gradually giving way to cautious optimism. If you're correct, this could change everything. But verifying your findings will require sending probes or possibly a team to investigate. Ryan grinned. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go check it out. Though hesitant at first, Trellis agreed to present their theory to General Varnock. When the general heard the evidence, he reluctantly authorized an expedition. A small crew, including Ryan, Lily, and a young CAlien engineer named Zoran, prepared to venture into the outer reaches of the star system. As their ship launched into the void, Ryan leaned back in his seat, staring out at the endless expanse of stars. "You know," he said to Lily, "back home I never thought I'd end up doing something like this." "Me neither," Lily replied with a smile. "But here we are, solving problems, one galaxy at a time." Little did they know, their journey was about to take an unexpected turn, one that would test their ingenuity, courage, and bond like never before. The journey to the outer edges of the star system was long and quiet. The ship hummed softly as it glided through the vast emptiness of space, its engines leaving faint trails of light behind. Inside, Ryan, Lily, and Zoran, the young CAlien engineer, sat in the main cabin surrounded by screens displaying maps, data, and live feeds from the ship's sensors. Zoran, who had been assigned to assist them, was eager to learn from the humans. Though his people were advanced, he admired their creativity and resourcefulness. He watched as Ryan tinkered with a handheld device, modifying it to pick up faint energy signals, while Lily studied charts and made notes on a tablet. "You humans are fascinating," Zoran said after a moment of silence. "Your methods seem so different." Ryan chuckled. "Different how? You mean because we're not as fancy as your tech?" "No," Zoran replied thoughtfully. "It's more than that. You approach problems with curiosity, almost like children, exploring a new world. My people rely on logic and precision, but sometimes we forget to look beyond what is obvious." Lily smiled at the compliment. "Sometimes the best solutions come from looking at things differently. That's why teamwork is important. Everyone brings something unique to the table." As they traveled deeper into uncharted territory, the ship's sensors began picking up strange readings. Faint pulses of energy flickered across the monitors, irregular but consistent. Ryan adjusted the device he'd been working on, amplifying the signal. "There's definitely something out here," Ryan said, his voice tinged with excitement. "Whatever it is, it's messing with gravity big time." Lily leaned over to examine the readings. "These patterns match the ones we saw back at the facility. We're close." Zoran nodded, his large eyes glowing brighter with anticipation. "Prepare for descent. There appears to be a planetoid nearby. It may hold answers." The ship descended toward the surface of the small, barren planetoid. Its rocky terrain stretched endlessly, dotted with jagged cliffs and deep craters. As they landed, Ryan grabbed a toolkit while Lily secured her tablet. Zoran carried a portable scanner designed to detect anomalies in the environment. Stepping outside, the trio was greeted by an eerie silence. The air was thin, requiring them to wear breathing masks provided by the CAlien. The ground beneath their feet felt unstable, as though it might shift at any moment. Ryan glanced around, taking in the desolate landscape. "This place gives me the creeps," Ryan muttered. "Feels like something's watching us." "Focus," Lily reminded him gently. "We're here to find answers, not get spooked." Using the scanner, Zoran led the way, following the strongest energy signatures. After hours of searching, they stumbled upon a massive crater hidden behind a ridge of rock. At its center lay an object unlike anything they'd ever seen, a crystalline orb hovering slightly above the ground, pulsating with a soft, rhythmic glow. "What is that?" Ryan asked, staring at the orb in awe. "It looks ancient," Lily said, her voice hushed. "Like it's been here for thousands of years." Zoran approached cautiously, his scanner beeping rapidly. "This must be the source of the gravitational disturbances. But how do we stop it?" Ryan knelt beside the orb, examining it closely. "Maybe we don't need to stop it. Maybe we just need to figure out what it wants." Lily raised an eyebrow. "What it wants? It's a rock, Ryan." "A very smart rock," Ryan corrected. "Look at these symbols etched into the surface. They remind me of constellations, patterns in the stars." Lily squinted at the markings, tilting her head. "You're right. These aren't random designs, they're coordinates mapped onto the crystal itself. Zoran frowned. Coordinates? For what? For unlocking it, Ryan guessed. If we align the symbols correctly, maybe it'll stabilize the gravitational field. Without wasting another moment, the three of them worked together to decipher the orb's secrets. Lily used her knowledge of mathematics to calculate the proper sequence while Ryan manipulated the crystal's surface, adjusting the symbols until they matched the pattern she identified. Zoran monitored the energy output, ensuring the orb didn't overload during the process. As the final symbol clicked into place, the orb emitted a blinding flash of light. For a brief moment, everything went silent. Then a wave of energy rippled outward, spreading across the planetoid and into the surrounding space. The ground beneath them trembled violently, forcing them to brace themselves against the force. When the shaking subsided, the orb dimmed, returning to its previous state of calm. Ryan let out a shaky breath. Did it work? Zoran checked his scanner, his expression lighting up with relief. Yes, the gravitational anomalies are stabilizing, the collapse is reversing. Lily hugged her tablet tightly, laughing in disbelief. We actually did it, we fixed it. Ryan grinned, wiping sweat from his forehead. Told you we could handle it. Humans, 1, cosmic disasters, 0. Their celebration was interrupted by a low rumble. The ground began to crack, splitting apart as the planetoid destabilized. Whatever power the orb had unleashed, it clearly wasn't meant to stay in one place for long. We need to leave. Now, Zoran shouted, already sprinting back toward the ship. Ryan and Lily followed close behind, dodging falling rocks and debris as the planetoid started to collapse in on itself. They barely made it to the ship before the entrance to the crater sealed shut, trapping the orb inside forever. Once safely aboard, Zoran piloted the vessel away from the crumbling world. As they soared through space, they watched the planetoid disintegrate in their wake, its fragments scattering like dust among the stars. That was too close, Ryan muttered, slumping into his seat. Next time, let's solve a problem without nearly getting crushed by alien rocks. Lily laughed despite herself. Agreed. But we did it, Ryan. We saved an entire civilization. Back on CAlien Prime, news of their success spread quickly. General Varnock awaited their return with a mixture of relief and begrudging respect. When the ship touched down, the trio was greeted by a crowd of cheering CAlien, their gratitude evident in every gesture. Varnock stepped forward, his stern demeanor softened slightly. You have done the impossible. Against all odds, you solved the riddle of the collapse. For that, my people owe you a debt we cannot repay. Ryan shrugged modestly. Just doing our job, General. Fixing things is kind of what we do. Lily added with a smile. And maybe next time you won't wait until the last minute to ask for help. Though Varnock didn't respond directly, there was a flicker of amusement in his eyes. For the first time, he seemed genuinely impressed by the ingenuity of these two ordinary humans. As preparations began for Ryan and Lily's return to Earth, Zoran approached them privately. I hope you know how much you've inspired us. Your courage and determination have shown us that even the smallest beings can achieve greatness. Ryan clapped him on the shoulder. Thanks, Zoran. And hey, if you ever need help fixing a spaceship or solving another cosmic puzzle, you know where to find us. With heartfelt farewells exchanged, Ryan and Lily boarded the transport ship bound for home. As they gazed out at the stars once more, they reflected on their incredible journey. What had started as an ordinary day on Earth had turned into an adventure beyond their wildest dreams. I still can't believe it, Lily said softly. We really did save a galaxy. Ryan smirked. Yeah, and I didn't even have to use duct tape this time. They shared a laugh, knowing their lives would never be the same. Somewhere out there, among the countless worlds of the universe, their story would be told. A tale of two unlikely heroes who proved that humanity's greatest strength lay not in its technology but in its heart. Ryan and Lily's return to Earth was met with a mixture of shock, awe, and disbelief. When their transport ship descended into the quiet town where they had been taken from, It landed in an open field just outside Ryan's garage. The sight of the sleek alien vessel drew a small crowd of curious onlookers, neighbors, friends, and even a few reporters who had somehow caught wind of the strange event. As Ryan and Lily stepped out of the ship, blinking in the bright sunlight, they felt a strange mix of emotions. They were relieved to be home, but also overwhelmed by the weight of what they had accomplished. For days, they had been hailed as heroes among the CAlien, celebrated for saving an entire star system. Now, standing in the familiar surroundings of their hometown, they wondered how, or if, they could explain their journey to the people around them. Hey everyone," Ryan said awkwardly, waving at the growing crowd. "Long story short, we helped some aliens fix a space problem. No big deal." The crowd erupted into murmurs, some skeptical, others amazed. A local reporter shoved a microphone toward them. "Can you tell us more about what happened? Are these aliens dangerous?" Lily stepped forward, her calm demeanor helping to ease the tension. "They're not dangerous. In fact, they needed our help. We solved a problem that was threatening their world, and now everything is okay." Though their explanation was vague, it seemed to satisfy most of the crowd. As the excitement died down, Ryan and Lily slipped away, eager to return to the comfort of their normal lives. But deep down, they both knew nothing would ever truly feel normal again. In the weeks that followed, news of their adventure spread far beyond their small town. Scientists, politicians, and even conspiracy theorists reached out, desperate to learn more about humanity's first contact with an alien species. Ryan and Lily tried to answer questions as best they could, but they avoided sharing too many details. Some things, they decided, were better left unsaid. Despite the attention, they quickly fell back into their routines. Ryan returned to his garage, fixing cars and tinkering with gadgets. Lily went back to the library, shelving books and solving puzzles in her spare time. To anyone watching, it seemed like life had gone back to the way it was before. But privately, neither Ryan nor Lily could forget the lessons they had learned during their time with the CAlien. They had discovered that human ingenuity, the ability to think creatively, adapt quickly, and work together, was a powerful force. It wasn't about having the fanciest tools or the most advanced technology. It was about seeing problems from a new perspective and refusing to give up no matter how impossible things seemed. One evening, as Ryan worked late in his garage, he received an unexpected visitor. Lily appeared in the doorway, holding a worn notebook filled with sketches and calculations. She looked nervous, almost hesitant. "Hey," she said softly. "Got a minute?" Ryan set down his wrench and wiped his hands on a rag. "Sure. What's up?" Lily hesitated before speaking. "I've been thinking about what we did out there, about how we solved the collapse, and I realized something." "What's that?" Ryan asked, leaning against his workbench. "We didn't just save the CAlien," Lily explained. "We proved that humans can make a difference, not just here, on Earth, but everywhere. Our creativity, our curiosity, our willingness to try, those are strengths no other species has. And maybe, just maybe, we should use them more often." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "You mean like, go looking for more problems to solve?" "Exactly," Lily said, her eyes lighting up. "There are so many challenges out there, on Earth and beyond. Climate change, energy shortages, diseases, the list goes on. If two ordinary people like us can help save a galaxy, imagine what we could do closer to home." Ryan thought about it for a moment, then grinned. "You know, for someone who spends all day reading books, you've got a pretty wild imagination." Lily laughed. "And for someone who fixes cars, you're surprisingly good at saving planets." Their conversation sparked an idea, one that would grow into something much bigger than either of them had anticipated. Over the following months, Ryan and Lily began reaching out to scientists, engineers, and thinkers from around the world. They shared their story, emphasizing the importance of collaboration and creative problem-solving. Slowly but surely, they inspired others to join their cause. Together, they formed a group called the Human Initiative, a team dedicated to tackling global challenges using the same principles that had guided them on CAlien Prime. simplicity, curiosity, and teamwork. From developing sustainable energy solutions to creating affordable medical devices, the Human Initiative made headlines for its innovative approaches to complex problems. Word of their efforts eventually reached the CAlien. General Varnock, still wary of humans but deeply impressed by Ryan and Lily's achievements, sent a message of gratitude. He included a holographic recording of Zoran, who expressed his admiration for their continued work. "You have inspired not only your own species but ours as well," Zoran said in the recording. "Perhaps one day our peoples will stand side by side facing the challenges of the universe together." Years passed, and Ryan and Lily's legacy only grew stronger. Their story became a symbol of hope, reminding humanity of its potential to overcome even the greatest obstacles. Schools taught lessons about their adventure, encouraging students to embrace curiosity and perseverance. Governments and organizations adopted the Human Initiative's methods, proving that simple ideas could lead to extraordinary results. Though they remained humble, Ryan and Lily couldn't deny the impact they had made. They often joked that they had gone from being ordinary townsfolk to accidental intergalactic heroes. Yet through it all, they stayed true to themselves. Two unlikely individuals who had risen to the occasion when the universe needed them most. One night, as they sat on a hill overlooking the town, gazing at the stars, Lily turned to Ryan with a smile. "Do you ever wonder if we'll get another call? Another chance to save the galaxy?" Ryan chuckled. "Honestly, I'm good for now. Saving one star system was enough adventure for a lifetime." Lily nodded, her gaze drifting back to the sky. "Still, it's nice to know we're ready if they need us again." As the stars twinkled above, casting a soft glow over the peaceful landscape, Ryan and Lily felt a deep sense of fulfillment. They had faced the unknown, defied expectations, and proven that even the smallest actions could ripple across galaxies. Whatever the future held, they knew they would face it together, with courage, determination, and the unwavering belief that humanity's greatest strength lay in its heart. And somewhere, far beyond the reaches of Earth, the CAlien watched, the same stars, grateful for the day they had called upon humans to save their world. Years after their return from CAlien Prime, Ryan and Lily's lives had changed in ways they never imagined. The Human Initiative had grown into a global movement, inspiring millions to tackle problems big and small with creativity and teamwork. Their story of saving an alien star system became legend, told not just on Earth but across the galaxy. Yet, despite their fame, Ryan and Lily remained grounded, always remembering the simple lessons they had learned during their adventure. One crisp autumn evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Ryan and Lily sat on the porch of Ryan's garage-turned-workshop. The air smelled of freshly cut grass and motor oil, a comforting blend that reminded them of home. They sipped coffee from mismatched mugs, watching the last rays of sunlight fade into darkness. "You know," Ryan said, breaking the silence, "sometimes I still can't believe it all happened. Like, what are the odds? Two ordinary people saving a whole galaxy?" Lily smiled, her eyes reflecting the dim glow of the porch light. "Maybe it wasn't about us being special. Maybe it was about seeing things differently. Sometimes, the simplest solutions come from the most unexpected places." Ryan nodded thoughtfully. "Still, it's kind of wild. Here we are years later running this whole initiative thing. Never thought I'd be part of something like this." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden flash of light in the sky. Both of them froze, staring upward as a bright beam descended toward the field where the alien ship had landed years before. Without a word, they grabbed their jackets and hurried toward the source, their hearts racing. When they arrived, they found a sleek, familiar-looking vessel hovering silently above the ground. A ramp extended downward and out stepped Zoran, the young CAlien engineer who had accompanied them on their mission. He looked older now, his shimmering skin marked with subtle signs of age, but his smile was as warm as ever. "Ryan, Lily," Zoran greeted them warmly, his voice carrying a mix of relief and urgency. "It is good to see you again." "Zoran!" Lily exclaimed, stepping forward. "What are you doing here? Is everything okay?" Zoran hesitated, glancing between them. "I wish I could say yes, but once again my people need your help. Ryan raised an eyebrow. Wait, seriously? Another cosmic disaster? Zoran shook his head. Not exactly. This time the challenge is different. It involves diplomacy, not mechanics. And once again, we believe humans may hold the key. Intrigued, Ryan and Lily exchanged a glance before following Zoran aboard the ship. As they settled into their seats, Zoran explained the situation. Over the years, the CAlien had begun reaching out to other civilizations, hoping to build alliances and share knowledge. However, tensions had arisen with a neighboring species known as the Vryn, a proud and secretive race with advanced technology of their own. The Vryn do not trust easily, Zoran explained. They see our attempts at communication as threats. We fear that without intervention, conflict may arise. And you think we can help? Lily asked, surprised. We're not diplomats. We don't even know anything about the Vryn. Precisely, Zoran replied. You humans have shown a unique ability to connect with others, even those who seem vastly different. Your curiosity, your openness, it is something rare in the galaxy. General Varnock believes your presence might bridge the gap between our peoples. Ryan leaned back in his seat, scratching his head. Well, if it means avoiding another interstellar war, I guess we can give it a shot. The journey to the CAlien homeworld was shorter this time, thanks to improved travel technology. When they arrived, they were greeted not only by General Varnock but also by representatives of the Vryn, a group of tall, insect-like beings with metallic exoskeletons and glowing eyes. The atmosphere in the meeting chamber was tense, with both sides exchanging wary glances. General Varnock stepped forward, addressing the room. We have gathered here today in hopes of finding common ground. These humans, Ryan and Lily, have proven themselves capable of solving seemingly impossible challenges. Perhaps their perspective can guide us toward peace. A Vryn representative, identified as Commander Xylar, spoke in a deep, resonant voice. Your faith in these creatures is misplaced. What can beings so primitive offer us? Ryan cleared his throat, stepping forward despite the intimidating presence of the Vryn. With all due respect, Commander, maybe the problem isn't what we can offer you. Maybe it's how we approach things. Humans aren't perfect and we've got plenty of our own issues. But one thing we're good at is listening. If you're willing, we'd like to hear your concerns and share ours. Xylar tilted his head, clearly intrigued. Listening, you say? Very well. Speak, human. Tell us why we should trust you. Over the next several days, Ryan and Lily worked tirelessly to mediate the discussions. They listened patiently as both sides aired their grievances, asking questions to clarify misunderstandings and encouraging open dialogue. Slowly but surely, walls began to come down. The Vryn revealed fears of losing their independence, while the CAlien admitted concerns about the Vryn's secretive nature. Through it all, Ryan and Lily emphasized the importance of mutual respect and cooperation. They shared stories of humanity's struggles and triumphs, highlighting moments when collaboration had led to progress. By the end of the summit, a fragile but hopeful agreement was reached. The CAlien and Vryn would establish a joint council to oversee future interactions, ensuring transparency and fairness for both sides. As the final meeting concluded, General Varnock approached Ryan and Lily, his expression softer than they had ever seen it. Once again, you have exceeded expectations. My people, and perhaps the entire galaxy, owe you a debt we cannot repay. Ryan grinned. Hey, no pressure or anything, right? Lily added with a smile. Just remember, General. Next time, try calling us before things get too complicated. Though their work was far from over, Ryan and Lily returned to Earth feeling a renewed sense of purpose. Their journey had shown them that humanity's greatest strength lay not in its power or technology, but in its ability to connect, to find common ground even in the face of overwhelming differences. Back home, they continued leading the Human Initiative, expanding its reach to include efforts toward interstellar cooperation. Schools, governments, and organizations around the world embraced their vision, proving that even the smallest actions could ripple across galaxies. And so, Ryan and Lily's legacy endured, not as heroes who had saved a single star system, but as pioneers who had inspired a new era of unity and understanding. Underneath the vast, endless sky, they often gazed at the stars, knowing that somewhere out there their story was being told, a testament to the boundless potential of humanity and the power of believing in the impossible. For Ryan and Lily, life had come full circle. From ordinary individuals plucked from their quiet town to ambassadors of hope for the galaxy, they had proven that greatness wasn't about titles or achievements. It was about heart, the courage to step forward, the humility to listen, and the determination to make a difference, no matter how daunting the challenge. And as long as there were stars to dream of and worlds to explore, their journey would continue, lighting the way for generations to come.